heroes. You're entering the eerie depths of Chokeslam Radio, where expert insider WWE knowledge and secrets are unleashed with thunderous power.
Rest in peace.
Coming to you live straight from the heart of Death Valley. Here are your mysterious hosts, DRW15 and DJ Big Unknown.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Chokeslam Radio, the most mysterious podcast in all of the WWE universe. I'm your host, or one of your hosts, DJ Big Unknown.
And I'm DRW15. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. As we teased last week, we've got an exciting special guest this week. Excited to bring him in here and to talk all things WWE. There's been a lot going on in the universe recently, so got to get into it. But first, I'll let DJ Big Unknown introduce our guest.
Yeah, so we have somebody who's well known in the sports community. He's a commentator for ESPN. Some of you may have heard of that network. But as Seamus says, this episode is going to be a banger. And without further ado, I'd like to bring on our special guest, Nolan French.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. As DJ Big Unknown said, it's always an honor to have a special guest, and especially someone who's an ESPN analyst. That's super exciting, and great to have you on the show. I'm excited you could take time out of your busy schedule to do this with us.
Yeah, I've always been a huge fan of the show, and I'm kind of becoming a WWE analyst right now.
Wow.
So I'm really excited to be part of this right now.
That's very exciting. One of my first of all, it's an honor to have you on the show. It's always great when we can get some of the leading experts in not just WWE universe, but all of athletics universe. And we have one of the best here. I was wondering, when it comes down to, analyzing sports, what makes WWE a unique sport to analyze?
I saw an episode of Chokeslam Radio a couple weeks ago where you guys were breaking down the NBA celebrity game. And I feel like that just paints the picture on how, we see NBA stars, the Olympics just finished. We see all these sports, but when it comes down to it, WWE is the greatest sport, and it's the hardest sport to do. We have debates about how basketball players can play baseball players can play soccer. No one talks about the WWE just because everyone knows it's not really a territory anyone can compete in unless you're built like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I know Triple H was trying to do some recruiting at the Olympics, but, Olympic athletes are great and all. It's cool that they're winning medals for our country and stuff like that. But, WWE is different, and that's why there's the WWE Universal Championship. It's not just about, obviously there's the USA Championship as well. But, some things are greater than Olympic athletes, or greater than, the stuff that was going on in Paris or whatever. And I'm glad that, as someone who works for ESPN, you've sort of worked with all the different sports, and you've come to realize that. So that's great to see.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the Olympics, a lot of people take it really seriously, but at the end of the day, it's more of just a ceremony than a genuine competition. It goes back to the Greek culture of, it was more of just a party than an actual competition. So
yeah, it came to my thought the other day about why WWE aren't allowed to participate, and I think that's kind of the reason. It's more all for show, all for the medals. No one cares about the medals. We care about the action, and WWE's greatest action and also greatest danger.
Mm-hmm. And WWE already has the greatest the greatest wrestlers from across the world, and they're competing on a weekly basis. So, like, when you already have a worldwide competition like that, then it doesn't really make the Olympics that special.
Yeah, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense for the WWE to even send their wrestlers over there, because everyone knows that as DJ Big N was saying, all the greatest wrestlers are in the WWE. So they're just gonna go over there and do the same matches again for the Olympics and beat up on all these random guys who are coming from these other countries. It would be an embarrassment, and I'm kind of glad, honestly, that the WWE doesn't mess with the Olympics, because it would be just silly. It wouldn't be much.
Yeah, it would be like all the bloodline guys. Or do you think the bloodline would compete for the United States or for Samoa?
That's a tough question. I would think they would go with Samoa, but we talk about how these smaller countries are involved in a lot of Olympic games, but if you put them in the ring with Roman Reigns, I mean, you're going to see some bones broken. Better have ambulances on deck, because it's going to be messy for sure.
Yeah, no. WWE definitely isn't as forgiving as like swimming and diving or gymnastics, where you can send some amateur athletes over there and still be proud that they're in the Olympics. You send an amateur athlete over in real wrestling with Roman Reigns or with some of the guys that we got in the WWE, and yeah, they're not making it back to their country. So
Yeah, I mean, recently, Logan Paul was saying that he's not even sure if he's allowed to go back to Japan after all the chaos that he's caused there. And I mean, he didn't even do anything illegal. That just kind of shows how. I mean, Chad Gable, he's another guy who you got to kind of keep an eye on him when he's in another country, because he could start as an Olympic wrestler, which that's actually something interesting to consider. But he was an Olympic wrestler, and now he's kind of like a symbol of our country. He's kind of on the level of Simone Biles. So imagine if Simone Biles went into Russia or Ukraine or somewhere and started beating up people. That would not be a good look on our country or really the world.
But yeah, that's what it takes to be a WWE wrestler, and I think these guys know that. And Chad Gable's a great example of someone who at one point was in the Olympics and now has been promoted to the WWE. So he's definitely moving up in the world, but that comes with some struggles as well. And when he goes to those other countries, they're pissed at him because he was an Olympic athlete, and now he's even more famous as a WWE superstar. And countries like Russia and China are not going to like that.
Yeah, Mr. Nolan, I know that Netflix is signing a deal with WWE pretty soon, but I'm wondering, is ESPN trying to get any deal on WWE events?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, we just talked about how it's bigger than the Olympics, probably the biggest sporting league in the world, honestly. So everyone's fighting for it, and it's obviously really big money. So we're trying to get our dollar there, but right now it's still a fight.
Interesting. What about Micromania? I know it's also, we interviewed 25 Cent a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that there's a couple streaming services and networks trying to get a show on them. Is ESPN looking into that as well?
Yeah, I mean, we've reached out to a few of those guys from Micromania, and we're looking at doing shows with them. But right now we're not working on deals with the whole league. It's more individual based. Have you guys seen the quarterback show and the receiver show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're looking at kind of integrating that into the WWE and in Micromania, and I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know ESPN does their 30 for 30, documentary series. So maybe they could do a 15 for 15 or something like that on Micromania. a little bit shorter, but still just as powerful, kind of like the 25-cent thing. So that would be exciting to see. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring that up in some meetings. It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, you heard it here first on Chokeslam Radio. Anyways, I wanted to get into what happened last Friday with Kevin Owens, because this guy, I don't really know what's going on with him. He just kind of seems like maybe been eating a little too many Big Macs and it's getting to his head, but he doesn't really know if he deserves to be in this match, but he's like doing it anyway, and he just can't really make up his mind. And I'm kind of confused why Cody is so adamant on fighting Kevin Owens at Bash at Berlin.
Yeah, well, I honestly think Cody's just feeling a little bit left out. Now that Roman's back, all the drama on SmackDown is around Roman. Everyone's going to SmackDown to see Roman, and Cody's looking for the next best fighter to fight. And right now, I guess he thinks that's Kevin Owens. I mean, Kevin Owens is a great fighter, but it's tough when that's like your buddy, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, fight me at this premium live event. Kevin Owens doesn't really have any stake in there, and they both have beef with the Bloodline, but the Bloodline, all they care about is Roman right now. So Cody's in a weird spot, but he feels like as the champion, he's got to still show up and perform. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting for a platform right now, and he's just doing whatever he can. I don't know if this is the solution. I mean, we talked about the Big Macs. We talked about snoozing on the job. I mean, not as top tier as the Bloodline, but still could be a fight where if he busts out some good moves and wins it by a landslide, some stuff could happen for sure.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Cody feels a little betrayed by Randy Orton, because Randy has been really close with Cody, almost more than Kevin Owens lately. But Randy has no interest in going for his title. He wants to go for Gunther's title instead, when Gunther's not even on the same show as him. So I wonder if Cody feels a little betrayed by Randy, and that's why he's, trying to get a match with Kevin Owens instead.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cody's just really trying to stay relevant at this point. And, when you fight the Viper at any time, you're going to put on a good show. I don't really understand why he had to fight Ludwig last night. That was kind of an embarrassment to Randy Orton in the RKO. But, we've talked about Adam Pearce and how he needs to figure his stuff out with scheduling. But, yeah, to go back to your point, I think, Randy definitely could have challenged for the title. It would have been a banger. But, Randy wants to fight Gunther after his that botch by the ref at King of the Ring, and I don't blame him. So that's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's more excited for that match than the one with Cody and KO. But you know what? I think Kevin Owens has a shot at getting that. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But it does just kind of feel like Cody's kind of half-assing it and choosing all these easy opponents while he waits for The Rock to challenge him later in the year, which he said he's going to do it, but where has he been? He's been filming movies. It was actually recently announced that Rock is going to star in the new Monster Jam, the movie. So it's pretty big news for Rock. But as you can see, he's definitely trying to avoid Cody and The Undertaker for as long as he can.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about these movies. I mean, movies are cool and all, but it's not the WWE. So, I mean, in a sense, he's running away from his fears and kind of being a coward while doing it. I mean, who wants to watch Space Jam when you could watch the freaking WWE? Nobody.
Mm-hmm. We have a incoming question from one of our viewers. Does Big Pharma fund the WWE? I would say no. I feel like the WWE is kind of against that with Prime Energy and C4. It's kind of going against what Big Pharma has been doing for years and using healthy ways to heal yourself, unlike these drugs.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think that, seeing that Prime bottle in the center of the ring says enough about the WWE and its values. Prime's got that coconut water and those electrolytes in it, but, no drugs. We have been a little bit worried about Ilya Dragunov since we mentioned that he may be taking drugs. We haven't seen him on Raw, so I hope that he's been getting the help that he needs. But, that dude's got some other issues. Maybe he got too involved with Big Pharma and they're pulling him back a little bit. But yeah, I don't
think there's any use of drugs in the WWE, at least right now, especially performance enhancing drugs. Just because, we see Prime bottles and I drink 1 or 2 Primes a day, and it really just keeps me motivated, keeps me working, keeps me on my grind. And I think once you have Prime in your system, you don't really need those performance enhancers.
Yeah, I would agree. We've been saying this for weeks. We've been defending Prime, and I think maybe Big Pharma has a lot of bots that they're running in the comments on TikTok and Instagram that are constantly talking about, oh, Prime is garbage, Logan Paul, he's a liar. So if anybody is funded by Big Pharma, it's probably a lot of these bots on TikTok.
Yeah. I actually have a quick clip let me pull it up real quick. I can remember how to do this. Here we go. It's just a quick clip. It's from a different sport. I know WWE and UFC are doing some collab soon, and this is from Adesanya, who fought this past Saturday. This was posted by his trainer just after the weigh-in on Friday. So I'll pull this up. And I'm just going to play a little bit. Tell me if you see anything fishy. And I don't know if you guys watched the fight, but tell me how you think the fight might have gone based on this video.
It's on Southtown. It's the remix. Yeah. Come on.
Whoa. What the? Oh, there you go.
That's enough of that. And I don't know if you guys watched the fight on Saturday night, but if you didn't, I just want to hear your predictions on how that fight ended based on that short clip from his trainer.
I don't think it ended well. He's rejecting one of the best drinks on the market. I walked into a GNC the other day, and all I see is a bunch of crap, a bunch of stuff that you put in your body, and it doesn't do any good for you. And I know the guys over at ESPN as well don't like any of that BS, and they're all Prime.
Yeah, I agree. You see it now in some GNCs. You go in and it's Prime is starting to take over because they're realizing what's healthy for your body is what's going to sell. So the people are starting to realize that, and the stores are starting to realize that. And Logan Paul, he realized that a long time ago, and he's made a lot of money because of it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, the thing
you
is,
don't see Randy Orton dumping his Prime.
No. Well, you see, the thing is with GNC, it seems like they'll sell anything. You go in there and there's all these crazy, weird pills and supplements and stuff that they're trying to sell you. But, once Prime starts hitting those shelves, that's what sells, as you said. And there's in the future, the more you go into GNC, the more you're going to see Prime bottles on those shelves, because people are realizing already, that's what sells, and that's what makes a difference in your body. None of these weird, whatever Adesanya drinks and whatever these other guys are taking, just go in there, grab a couple Primes, and you're set.
Yeah. And a lot of people these days, they walk into a nutrition store and they just bite the marketing. They bite, oh, it's supposed to be good for you. This trainer said you should take this. No, it's all a complete scam. Look at the label. You won't see anything bad in Prime. And in these other supplements, nothing's good. It's like complete 180.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I have a video that I want to play as well. It doesn't have to do with Prime, but it does have to do with our friend Adam Pierce. So let's go ahead and roll the video.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. Adam Pierce here on the road, but coming to you with a very exciting piece of information. Many of you over months, years really, have had any number of complaints, be that about matches you didn't get that you wanted, or referees that have made bad calls. Heaven forbid my agents get there late to break up a fight, or maybe you just have a general complaint against a superstar. Well, I am proud to announce that you can now have your voice heard. That's right, my official complaint line is live and available, where you can call and leave a VM for the GM. If you have any number of complaints, want your voice heard, have a suggestion, have anything you want, give me a call, 248-434-5508. Once again, that's 248.
Let's pause it right there. Obviously, we've been very critical of Adam Pierce, but this is his first good idea in a while. And I was thinking we could go ahead and call this number on the show right now, see if we can get a hold of him.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
That sounds like a great idea. Finally, Adam Pierce seems to be listening to his fans. So, maybe a good thing from the boss over here.
Yeah. All right. I'm dialing the number right now. I don't even know where to start, but I think the first thing I'm going to complain about is what happened to R-Truth a couple weeks ago, and because that was just a shame. But I mean, I'll try to keep it short, because we could do the rest of this show just me leaving voicemails to Adam Pierce, because this guy's an absolute clown. But all right, I'm calling.
Put it on speaker.
All right, well, it was a stupid internet joke. It was a Rickroll. Whatever.
Yeah, we keep seeing all these publicity stunts just appearing to be doing the right thing, but when it comes down to it, they're avoiding the truth, avoiding reality, and really a coward.
Yeah.
That actually really pisses me off. I mean, I was finally happy he was finally doing something right. But of course, Adam Pierce is going to be a jackass online. Like, whatever. What a freaking loser. He really spent all that money to buy a freaking Rickroll phone number. What a waste of time and money. Imagine if he spent that money on paying for better security guards. Jeez.
Yeah. We were talking about it when we were watching the show last night. Need new security. They keep letting that ref who's screwing up all the matches just officiate more matches. Like, it doesn't seem like Adam Pierce does anything. And even that match with the Miz last night, like, Adam Pierce had no idea what was even going on. He kept having to ask the Miz if he wanted the fight. Like, the dude has no control over his own show. What a junk show that was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the refs are really getting out of hand. I just don't think we have the proper training right now. I know DJ Big Unknown used to be a ref, and when we were living together for a little bit, he was having me practice WWE moves just so he could work on officiating them and making sure all of it's done correctly. And I think we might need to implement that into the WWE ref system. And bring them through a training course, maybe by DJ Big Unknown, maybe by some other professional. But right now it's getting pretty ridiculous.
I think there's a couple guys who probably shouldn't be full-time wrestlers and maybe demoted to refs, because although they're not that good, they would still be a lot better than the refs, or not refs, but security guards. Like Ilya Dragunov should probably be a security guard. This guy Butch, or Pete Dooney. I don't know. There's a couple guys who, I know WWE in the past has recruited a bunch of security guards to become wrestlers, but maybe they should kind of go in reverse for some of these guys.
Yeah,
One person become security.
One person that I think would actually be a pretty good referee is LeBron James, just because the way he handles his business and all professional, and I don't think he would horse around with any of that jibber jabber stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have seen celebrities in the past ref matches. I know Mike Tyson refed a match back in one of the WrestleManias, so I think that's a great idea, and I hope the WWE watching right now is taking notes. We should get King James as a ref for an upcoming match. I know people will show up just to see him ref. So any way you can sell tickets and have a better match, that seems like a win-win situation.
And we talked about how WWE is the greatest league. I mean, the NBA is cool and all, but I think honestly being a security guard for the WWE could be bigger prestige than being in the NBA. Like, I don't give a crap how many records you break. You don't want to step in a ring with these guys at all.
Yeah, that's why we see guys like Tyrese Halliburton trying to get into a WWE ring and elevate his career.
Yeah, absolutely. Another guy I'd love to see as a ref is George Kittle. That's a guy with a real career, so I don't know. I would say it's about even being in WWE and being a tight end on the 49ers, but I know that guy's all about business. He loves the WWE, and he wouldn't be taking crap from any fighters. I think some of the problems we have now is that these refs are scared of the guys that are in the ring, and so they get nervous and they mess up the count, or they don't officiate well. So we got to get some big body guys in there like George Kittle or like LeBron to be a ref that's, that can actually officiate these matches.
Yeah, another big athlete I know who's trying to get back into the NFL, but maybe he could make a pivot and become a ref at WWE is Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, that's a guy who likes to, learn about all the rules and really be vocal, So that's what you need from a ref. And I know he's not gonna put up with any BS there.
Yeah, that's a guy who is always gonna stand for what he believes in. So he's not gonna take any BS from these fighters who try to cheat. He knows what is right, and he's gonna stand by that no matter what. So I think he'd be a great ref. Or a security guard too.
Yeah. That's one guy. If Uncle Howdy's around, I want him, standing next to the ring, to whatever he can to keep those guys out. And I know if he's around there, he's going to stand on business for sure. So absolutely Colin Kaepernick. If this doesn't, this final run at the NFL doesn't go well, WWE's not a bad option for the guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of famous athletes in other sports trying to get into WWE, I have one more video to show. So let me cue that up.
From this crowd of about 1,000 folks here tonight. And speaking of wow, Cody's got to somehow get Shaq frustrated. That may not do it, or maybe it will.
Shaq turns the tables.
Oh my God! The size of that hand across Cody's chest was absolutely shattering.
Even Bryce Remsburg felt it.
Now you look at the leverage advantage, the strength advantage, obviously. But when Cody's down, look, nice back body drop. Cody's in trouble one-on-one here.
I thought that was an interesting video because I haven't watched much of AEW, and this was a match back in AEW, and it seems like they threw all of their best athletes into one match. It looked like it was Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, and Shaquille O'Neal. So I do think it is a little interesting because Shaq isn't necessarily a wrestler, you would think, but he has fought in WWE back in the day as well. And it is interesting because that didn't seem like it was from that long ago. And Cody Rhodes is the current Universal Champion. So maybe Shaq could see this as an opportunity to go for that Universal title.
Yeah, without a doubt. And as we were talking about earlier, I think Cody's fighting to stay relevant right now on SmackDown. So, maybe instead of challenging Kevin Owens, he runs it back with Shaq or one of these other big names from, these other sports that are struggling a little bit. If I were him, I don't know if I would want to face Shaq again. I felt that slap in my chest a little bit. So, maybe Cody's taking the easy road out by challenging Kevin Owens instead of going after someone like Shaq.
Yeah, I think Shaq would be great in the WWE just because we see a guy that's not afraid to get dirty. He's not afraid. We've seen him in the NBA, not afraid to get fouled, not afraid to run through a guy, put him in the hospital. And that's just what we want in the WWE. And that was really cool to see. Thanks for showing me that, big DJ Big Unknown.
You're welcome. Yeah, and we've also seen Shaq getting into those crazy mosh pits at raves, and that's almost like a WWE fight in itself. Like, I actually had the pleasure of scouting Shaq last weekend at one of his performances to see how he was looking, if he could return to the WWE to fight Cody, and he looked really good. But I encountered one of those infamous Shaq mosh pits, and I mean, I was dodging super kicks and power bombs and stuff like that. So, being at one of his concerts is almost like a WWE academy. And I think maybe instead of, WWE has like the Performance Center, I think maybe Shaq could probably run his own clinic at the Performance Center. And I think a lot of these guys would learn a lot from that.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, because Shaq has been in the WWE and AEW now. So I wonder if he's kind of putting on these events to try to recruit some people. I mean, he's got a pretty good view. He's already big as he is, but when he's up on that stage at like above everyone, he can see the mosh pits pretty well. So I bet he's looking in there for some, possible talents. I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H reached out to him and was like, hey, put on this show and see if there's anyone special in there that's really putting on some moves in these mosh pits and taking people out. Maybe that's where they found Odyssey Jones, honestly, because that's a guy who looks like he could have a good time in a mosh pit and would throw some bodies around. So,
yeah.
One person that I can see that happening is Jacob Fatu. I mean, look at that guy, and he just does not care in the ring. He's just throwing elbows, throwing legs. He would throw someone off a roof if he could. He's out to kill, and that's just the type of stuff we definitely see at Shaq concerts.
Yep.
When I was there, at one point, he called for an all-girls mosh pit. So it's almost like Triple H asked them to recruit for the women's division because, as we know, it's very lacking right now, especially on Monday Night Raw. But for some reason, WWE has all these great female talent on NXT and doesn't want to call them up. Meanwhile, we get to see the Pure Fusion Collective and the Damage Control every week, and it's super fun to watch. I love it.
Well, I think the WWE is doing that on purpose a little bit to try to get us to watch NXT, because as we've talked about, there's not quite the same wrestling talent maybe down there, but at least they've got some like visual talent, So I guess that's the draw to watch that show, if nothing else. But yeah, no, I can't even watch those matches anymore. And I was a little bit worried about whatever other girls match we had on Monday night before Uncle Howdy showed up. But yeah,
Maxie Dupree and Ivy Nile.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that's going on in the women's division at all right now. It's it's pretty lacking. So, we
Well, I mean,
need
Liv Morgan and Mommy are really,
Yeah.
really, entertaining to watch, but they don't do any matches unless it's against themselves, and that's only like once every 4 months. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Liv Morgan's had this title for a while now and has only had one fight. I mean, why can't we see any matches with them? We just get to hear them talk every week about the same stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think someone that could be interesting to join the women's league is Ice Spice, just because she's kind of the same as Shaq in the sense that she throws these big concerts where I bet there's people fighting each other there too. And I just think it'd be good to get her a chance and a platform to join.
Mm-hmm. I think she and Sexy Red could make a pretty gnarly combo. I know Sexy Red's already been at some wrestling shows, and I think if she and Ice Spice showed up together in like a tag team thing, they could do some real damage. I mean, no pun intended, but Damage Control would have no shot against those girls. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also think I mentioned this earlier on the show, but I think Simone Biles would make a great fighter as well. You know, we've seen her. She has crazy acrobatic skills. She might be more of like one of these Ilya Dragunov guys who's more focused on doing flips than actually fighting anyone, but she would be pretty entertaining to watch, and I could see her putting on a good match against someone like Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm. That whole women's gymnastics team, honestly, if those four showed up, I think they could run through almost everyone on Raw right now except for Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. So, they're small and they can do flips, and I think in the women's division, that's all it's really going to take right now. There's not a whole lot of competition there aside from the two girls at the top.
Yeah, I would agree. Anyways, I have another segment planned of high-flying flavor. Should we get into that?
Yep. Excited for it.
All right, so we're going in. This is going to be the third episode of high-flying flavors, so let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to High Flying Flavors. I'm DJ Big Unknown, and this week we have the Haunted Apple Fanta. I picked this up at a store. I was going through the store today, and I saw this, and I knew I got to review this for High Flying Flavors. It's got a creepy guy on it, so I don't know if it's going to beat the Prime from previous weeks, but go ahead and try this thing. Ooh, I'm smelling it right now, and it kind of smells like apple cider. So that's interesting, but I'm going to try it. Yeah, it honestly just tastes like apple cider flavor, but like soda-y. But I honestly like it. It's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's as good as the Prime. So it's going to be in third place for now.
Wow.
I'll make sure to make a graphic for next week's. It's kind of confusing right now, but basically for all the high-flying flavors, I have WWE Prime as the best, UFC Prime as second best, and now the third best is Haunted Apple Fanta. So, yeah, thank you for watching this episode of High Flying Flavors.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think it's tough for any of these flavors to really compete with Prime. I think it's like universally known as the best flavors on the market right now. And when you're going for flavors and performance, you can't really beat Prime. Fanta's been in the game for a long time, but with this, Prime's kind of like Braun Breaker right now, and everyone's trying to keep up with him. but
Yeah.
Tough to do when there's a new guy like that shows up and just dominates.
Another thing is this is not even as good as a prime, but it has the same amount of calories as 26 primes. So if I drink 26 primes right now, I'd get the same amount of calories as drinking just one of these at 260 calories.
Dang.
So that's pretty crazy. I don't know why you would not drink prime.
I mean, we're seeing Prime just absolutely dominating the market right now. And then,
Yep.
Fanta and all those other soda companies are making new branding and new flavors, such as the flavor that you just reviewed, DJ. And they're really just fighting to stay in the market and not go bankrupt, because that's what it's come down to.
Yeah, I said this on a previous week, but Gatorade is in shambles right now. If you go to any 7-Eleven, they got 5 Gatorades for $1. They're just doing anything to try to sell those things. Meanwhile, Prime, it's kind of hard to even find them on the shelves because people are buying them so fast.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even got to do any discounts.
That's the one problem, is that it's not cheap to drink Prime because it's the top of the game right now, and everyone's trying to catch up to them. So, Logan's not going to put a discount on Prime when, people are buying them out at full value. I would pay $5 for a bottle, so getting them at $2 or $3 is a steal.
I agree, and there's some Prime bottles going for thousands and thousands of dollars online, and it's just that good. Obviously, those are because they're rare, but it's also because they have a different formula for those. For example, there's a new rare one called Secret Serum, which is its own different Prime formula, which who knows what kind of benefits that would have. I don't know if anyone's actually drank one yet, but it's kind of like one of those things where you got to pay a lot of money and make a lot of money.
Yeah. It's kind of like a quality over quantity type thing. As you said, you could buy 5 Gatorades for less than $1 now at a 7-Eleven, but then you're just putting a bunch of junk into your body. Whereas now there's this Prime Secret Serum. I mean, the choice is obvious. Your body's the most important thing. How are you going to compete in the ring or anywhere else if you're not treating your body right? So that's why all these athletes are choosing Prime, and that's why Adesanya shockingly got choked out in his UFC fight on Saturday night after dumping Prime in the toilet. I mean, not surprised, but I mean, just a little bit ignorant at this point from the guy.
Yeah, and then the other day I saw a video of it was actually Big Justice drinking a Prime, and it was right before he ran a crazy route and did a one-handed catch. And I was just thinking to myself, I don't know if Big Justice is obviously a freak athlete as it is, but I don't know if he's making plays like that without Prime in his system.
No.
Yeah. That's why a lot of these guys like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Judge, Kevin Durant, a lot of these guys, they rely on Prime to be they're not going to say that, but they wouldn't have Prime sponsor them if it's not something that help them become who they are.
No. Yeah. And Big Justice and them, I know Costco and the double chunk chocolate cookie is kind of their thing, but I know they're not sponsored by Prime either, but they're drinking it, and that's why that dude's going to be, the number 1 recruit in the class of 2036. And, we've already had a guest who's gone over all of that. And, that's why we have these guests on these shows week after week. They're bringing great insight on WWE, obviously, but, Prime and the future of sports as well. So it's great, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to wrap up this show here pretty soon, but before we go, I wanted to ask you guys, I'm going to actually be linking up with Cody Rhodes at a liquor store on Friday. And I was wondering if you guys had any questions I should ask him when I see him.
Yeah, well, I think a liquor store is an interesting environment, and I would love to see his takes on if you could maybe find a Prime or even a beatbox in there, and bring a goat field too, and see what he has to say about those things. We've talked about all those things on our show, and liquor store is a great place to bring up those props. And as the WWE champion, I would love to hear what he has to say. I wouldn't be shocked if he's got mixed feelings about them, because I don't think he's the greatest champion we've ever seen. And I think his feelings might be a little bit hurt right now because of Roman and everything that's been going on. But we do know at the end of the day, he's a prime athlete. So we'd love to hear the WWE's champion's perspective on some of the best drinks in the game right now.
Yeah, I'd love to see like a parody of high-flying flavors from him, especially in a liquor store. There's so many options of what to drink, and I would like to see him give it a boomer doom and just taste test a lot of the options available there.
Yeah, and I know that after WrestleMania, he and Jey Uso had a little drink or two to celebrate. So I would love to know what they were drinking and what they recommend as sort of a post victory drink, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, Cody is sponsored by American Wheatley Vodka, but I don't know anyone who actually drinks that. I mean, he's just sponsored by them. But it is interesting how, Cody Rhodes is this guy that all these kids look up to, but he's out here promoting alcohol to everyone. I don't know how, I don't know how great of a decision that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, as an athlete, you always want to educate the kids and your fans about what to put in your body. But I just saw an interview with Josh Allen, the Bills quarterback, last week, and he was talking about Zins, and how he loves Zins, and that's how he was preparing for this season. So we'll see how that goes for him. But some of these athletes, they get a little bit out of hand, and sometimes it's okay to have a drink or two to celebrate. But you got to remember that kids are listening. I know a lot of kids listen to our show, so that's why we always talk about Prime.
Yeah, and especially for Cody, I would like it a little more if he reviewed a little bit more healthy of an option, such as like a beatbox or something like that still gets you a drink or two in you, but still gives you a lot of nutritional effects as well. So you're not just destroying your body.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I know there is a new drink that's kind of new, like a popular with like young people right now. Not like young, but like above 21. But and that's vodka Red Bull has kind of like been a popular drink, but now people are realizing that vodka Prime is a lot better and a lot healthier. I mean, obviously it's still not healthy, but it's a great alternative that is healthier than a vodka Red Bull, and it tastes good. I haven't had one before, but I know that's something that's pretty popular right now.
Yeah, when you're drinking a little bit, especially if you're thinking of drinking a vodka Red Bull, you're trying to have a good night and be at the top of your game. So I don't know why you wouldn't switch a Red Bull out for a Prime, just given what we know about the two drinks and the performance benefits that Prime gives you.
100%.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Nolan, for joining this episode. This was another banger episode, and we're excited to see where your career goes. And we'll definitely be listening closely next time you call a game.
I appreciate it. And then hopefully I can get some calls for the WWE as well. That would be a blast.
Yeah. Well, do you have anyone that you want to shout out? Oh.
No, I was just going to say to all our viewers, if and when we see any deals with the WWE and ESPN coming up, just know this guy in Chokeslam Radio is behind all of it. So, you heard it here first. Keep your eyes peeled for any new big deals. I know he can't release any information quite yet because, still in the works. But, it's an honor to have someone like that on our show this week.
Yeah, well, Nolan, is there anyone you want to shout out before we end the episode?
I think I'm going to use my shout out for the Ice Spice and Sexy Red that we were talking about earlier, just because I think it would be great for the sport, great for the fans, and I would love to see it. So hopefully, if you guys are out there listening, you take in what we've had to say seriously, and you're considering your options right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure to subscribe and like and chokeslam the follow button and leave a 5-star review, or the Undertaker will come get you. Have a great night.